Okay, 2 more minutes. Let's go. One last minute. I'm going to check if our guest speaker is here. Well, the time is 7 p.m. in many Eastern Asian countries. Let me double check with our speaker to see if they are able to join us. And while we're waiting, we do hope everyone could help us to repost this session so more audience can join us. Thank you. And I am also going to check my connections over here to see if it's audible. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, nice. I use my other device to check, and we are audible across multiple platforms. We are also being featured on the front page of Binance site, which is just amazing. Let's just wait for our guest speaker to be ready so he can join us. We're going to have a AICat AMA. Very exciting because the name is super cute. Maybe I can use the time to add the title a bit as well and also pin the. Okay, I'm also going to pin our event banner on the very top. Let's go. ping it. And here's another one. Okay, pinged both. Let me see. For some reasons, I still cannot see our guest speaker. Let me try again. Interesting. Double check. I cannot. Ethan, if you are here, can you raise your hand by click on the mic icon? I might also wanted to, let me see, go over the list over here. Yeah, so far I don't see any requests to speak. Let's see. Even if you are here in the audience, do you mind to check your connections? I'm also trying to find you in the audience as well. There are so many accounts. Let me check. Cannot hear our speaker and cannot see him as well. But no worries. We will fix this pretty soon. Let me try the other method to see if we could bring him up. Let me check. Oopsie. Okay. Okay, so even I believe your connections, might not be very stable because we can see you raise your hand. You might need to check your Wi-Fi connections. Yeah, so that's because you are not connected. Yes, please reconnect. That's okay. We still have some time and we will wait for you. Yeah, unfortunately, I believe still due to Wi-Fi issues, we still can see your request. That is so strange. Let me try again. Okay, now it shows connecting. Hopefully this time it will work.
Hello.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ethan. Thank you for joining us. Wow, finally. Great.
Finally.
Yeah, I know sometimes X glitches a lot, so it really takes some time for us to get this, but that's okay. Let's get started. And once again, everyone, welcome to this amazing X Spaces with our representative from AICat. Ethan is a founder of AICat, and AICat also bridges AI, DeFi, and RWA to unlock a 16 trillion, I believe a T represent trillion, operating through autonomous finance. We're so exciting to have you joining us today. And Ethan, of course, let's get started. I believe our audience can wait to learn more about your project. So, could you please give us a brief intro about yourself and your team? Also, please share with us the story behind AgMat. What inspired your team to create this project? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just checking. Can you hear me okay? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's a bit glitchy.
Okay, one second. How about now?
Well, let's try. Yeah, I think right now we could hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, by the way, I'm Ethan, a cat. I come from a somewhat unconventional mix of backgrounds. I hold dual PhDs in financial engineering and cryptography from the University of Cambridge. And before starting AICat, I spent over a decade in traditional finance. Most recently, I was leading quantitative strategy at a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. My job was to design and run trading algorithms that were managing over 10 billion in AUM with millisecond latency, high frequency execution, and dynamic risk systems. Me a lot about markets, liquidity fragmentation, and just how inefficient many legacy systems still are. But around 2019, I began diving deep into crypto and DeFi, and I was blown away by the potential, especially when it came to removing intermediaries and democratizing access to financial tools. That said, the lack of structure, compliance, and institutional readiness always felt like a big barrier. Can you still hear me? I think I'm having some connection issues.
Yes, Ethan, we can hear you mostly. And sometimes it's glitchy and on and off, but no worries. Yeah, we got most of the ideas. And thank you so much for the
Okay,
introduction
okay, just
of
checking.
yourself and
Let
everything.
me continue.
Thank you.
What what planted the seed for AICat is I wanted to create a new kind of financial system, not one that fights TradFi, but one that upgrades it, a new operating system, if you will. That's where autonomous finance comes in. AI native, DeFi native, RWA integrated. It's a project built on decades of financial experience, but reimagined with cutting edge technology. Our core team is pretty special too. We've got quantum computing experts from US national labs, AI engineers who help build trading systems for sovereign wealth funds, and even a couple of scientists who were part of the original DeepMind Alpha projects. So it's not just a DeFi team, it's a deep tech plus finance. AI is the product of that convergence.
Got it. Thank you so much, Ethan, for the intro. And of course, well, since our title mentioned about the term autonomous finance, right? It's actually quite new term for many audience, I believe. What does it really mean? Can you elaborate that with us? Thank you.
Did you asked about autonomous finance?
Sorry, Ethan, you are breaking out. Yeah, the question was about autonomous finance. Thank you.
Okay. Um, so yeah, it's quite a new term to many. It's a term that's still evolving and sometimes misunderstood. Most people are familiar with DeFi by now. Um, Decentralized finance, which removed some of the traditional middlemen like banks and brokers, replacing them with code and smart contracts. But even with DeFi, there's still a huge reliance on human oversight, whether it's DAOs tweaking parameters, developers adjusting strategies, or users manually reacting to the market. The system still depends on people making decisions. So when we say autonomous finance, we mean something that takes DeFi one step further, a system where financial decisions and actions are executed automatically with adaptive intelligence, not just through static rules, but through AI that can actually learn from patterns, respond to change, and even predict future outcomes based on real time data. Let me give you a concrete example. In traditional finance, a fund manager might rebalance a portfolio based on market signals, say, shift capital from bonds to equities. In DeFi, you might have a smart contract that rebalances every X hours or based on preset thresholds. But in autonomous finance, the AI agent continuously monitors hundreds of inputs, from global market conditions to token liquidity, and dynamically rebalances in real time, based on predictive models rather than rigid triggers. It's the difference between a traffic light on a timer and a self driving car that sees the road, anticipates traffic, and adjusts speed accordingly. At AICat, we've built AI agents that can perform tasks like dynamic hedging, cross asset rebalancing, real time market making, and predictive risk control with millisecond level execution. These agents aren't just tools, they're decision makers operating within boundaries we set. And that's really the heart of it. We're not just automating actions, we're delegating intelligence. What makes this possible is the synergy between AI, DeFi, and RWA. The AI interprets market data and on chain behavior. DeFi provides the infrastructure for permissionless execution. That's what allows autonomous finance to be not only fast and scalable, but also meaningful in a real economic sense. From a broader view, I often compare this to autonomous vehicles. When self driving cars were first introduced, people said, but I still trust human drivers more. Fast forward a decade, and the data shows autonomous systems often have fewer errors, faster reaction times, and more consistent behavior in complex conditions. Finance is headed down the same path. We're just early. Autonomous finance will become the default because as markets move faster and global data flows become more complex, no single human or even team of humans can keep up. The ability to adapt in real time, 24/7, without fatigue, emotion, or bias. That's where intelligence outpaces human intuition. So, to wrap it up, autonomous finance isn't about removing humans entirely. It's about augmenting financial systems with intelligence, creating a smarter, safer, and more adaptive financial infrastructure that can scale beyond what any traditional model allows. And that's the vision at AICat.
Got it. Thank you so much, Ethan, for letting us know about that. The term autonomous finance. That's pretty interesting. And of course, we know that AICat's bridging TradeFi and DeFi RWA. Why are this part really important nowadays for our Web3ers? Thank you.
Because real world assets are where the real money is. We believe RWAs or real world assets are absolutely essential if we want to scale DeFi beyond the crypto native bubble. Right now, there's still a huge gap between traditional finance and on chain finance. Most of the world's health is still sitting off chain in assets like real estate, bonds, private credit, and commodities. We're talking about over $700 trillion in global assets. Compare that to crypto's total market cap, which is still just a few trillion. It's a tiny fraction. If DeFi wants to go mainstream, we can't just keep building faster casinos. We need to bring real economic activity on chain. RWAs are how we do that. And it's not just theory anymore. Major institutions like BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs are already tokenizing everything from treasuries to real estate. Bringing these assets on chain does two powerful things. First, it gives us transparency. Anyone can verify ownership and performance in real time. Second, it opens up access. You no longer need to be a millionaire or an institutional investor to get exposure to high quality assets. You could be a student in Vietnam owning a fraction of a property in London. That's powerful. But to make this work, we need infrastructure that both traditional institutions and crypto native users can trust. And that's where AICat comes in. We're not just tokenizing assets, we're making them programmable, divisible, and auditable, with AI managing compliance and risk dynamically. So it's not only more efficient, it's also safer and more scalable. That's how we see the future of finance: inclusive, intelligent, and rooted in the real economy.
Got it. Thank you so much, Ethan, for letting us know about the details regarding bridging TradeFi and DeFi with RWA. And I have to say that RWA is definitely a very popular sec or track, right, for the cycle. So we are going to see a lot of projects building it as well. And certainly very exciting about like AICat is also contributing to it. Now, our follow-up question is what makes AICat's AI engine stand out in this space, especially right now, so many projects are claiming that they combine AI with Web3, right?
Right, right. So I think what really sets AICat's AI engine apart is both the depth of its architecture and the philosophy behind how we apply it. First off, our foundation wasn't built from typical Web3 tools or lightweight scripts you often see in crypto projects. Our core AI stack is based on architectures that have been used in some of the most demanding financial environments. Things like sovereign wealth fund forecasting, macroeconomic simulations for central banks, and institutional grade trading. So it's not just experimental, it's battle tested. Now, the real differentiator is how adaptive it is. A lot of what's labeled as AI in Web3 today is frankly just rule based automation or some surface level machine learning. But financial markets are noisy, complex, and constantly changing. Hard coded logic breaks fast. What we've built at AICat is a Bayesian inference engine. That means the AI is continuously updating its beliefs and strategies in real time based on new data. It's not just executing code, it's reasoning under uncertainty, which is how real world finance works. And that brings me to another critical point. We don't only train on chain data. Most DeFi systems live in this closed loop of token prices and transactions. But markets don't operate in a vacuum. So we integrate macroeconomic indicators, satellite imagery for supply chain signals, credit market data, and even social sentiment across platforms. That gives our AI much better context. And context, excuse me, and context in decision making is everything. Finally, and I think this is incredibly important in financial AI, is explainability. Users and institutions need to understand why an AI made a decision. So we built transparency layers into our agents. Whether it's rebalancing a portfolio or adjusting risk exposure, users can see the rationale behind it. That builds trust, which is something a black box model simply can't deliver. So, to sum it up, it's not just about having AI, it's about having the right kind of AI, purpose built for financial complexity, grounded in real world data, and designed for trust. That's the heart of what makes AI Cat's engine so unique in the space.
Got it. Well, no wonder AICat could stand out in the Web3 and AI space right now, especially there are so many other projects are doing the thing as well. And Ethan, since you have also, the team has also built a pretty unique trading engine, right? Can you explain the MEV protection side of it? Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing. The MEV, which stands for maximum extractable value, has become one of the most persistent problems in DeFi. It refers to the profit that can be extracted by validators or other actors in the transaction pipeline by reordering, inserting, or censoring transactions within a block. And most users aren't even aware it's happening. So every time you submit a transaction, say swapping tokens on a DEX, it goes into the mempool, and that's where MEV bots can spot it, jump ahead of you, and basically extract value by sandwiching your trade or manipulating price slippage. It's like an invisible tax on regular users, and it creates an unfair playing field. When we built AI Cat's trading engine, we knew MEV wasn't just a performance issue, it was a trust issue. So we designed our system from the ground up to minimize MEV exposure. For starters, we use a hybrid model with an off chain order book and on chain settlement. This ensures that sensitive trade data doesn't get exposed in the mempool, which is where most MEV attacks are executed. By keeping orders private until settlement, we eliminate a huge vector for exploitation. But that's just the base layer. What really makes AI Cat stand out is how we apply AI to protect the system. Our engine monitors real time activity to detect abnormal gas usage, slippage manipulation, latency, arbitrage, things that suggest someone is trying to extract MEV. When it detects these patterns, the AI can proactively reroute transactions, delay settlement, or even quarantine suspicious flows for further analysis. We also focus on execution speed. Many MEV strategies rely on microseconds of advantage. So by optimizing for low latency execution, often at 800 milliseconds from signal to confirmation, we close that window dramatically. And there's one more piece that's philosophical for us: fairness. We believe DeFi should empower individuals, not bots or insiders. We've built protections that ensure all users, whether retail or institutional, get equal access and aren't silently exploited behind the scenes. So, to sum it up, MEV is a real risk, but it's not unsolvable. With the right architecture and intelligent defense mechanisms, we can level the playing field and make DeFi safer, more transparent, and more fair for everyone.
Got it. Thank you so much, Ethan, for letting us know about that. Yes, we certainly need a very safe and fair environment for the traders. And let's dive deeper into tokenomics. How does the token AICat support the whole ecosystem? Thank you.
So the AI cat token is designed to create both utility and alignment. It's not just a speculative asset. It plays an active role in how the protocol runs. So when users interact with the protocol, whether it's trading, staking, or using AI tools, they're either paying fees or earning incentives in AI cat. A portion of those fees gets redistributed to token holders. Some is burned to create a deflationary effect, and some goes into training incentives for our AI models. So the more active the system is, the more value flows back to the community. And of course, AICat also gives governance rights. So hopefully steer how the protocol evolves. We didn't want to just create a utility token. We wanted to create a smart asset that grows with the ecosystem.
Got it. Thank you, Ethan, for the explanations regarding the AirCat token.
We've brought that down to milliseconds. Our average trade finality is around 800 milliseconds. Risk evaluations under 50 milliseconds. That's not just fast, that's high frequency trading fast. We're essentially offering HFT grade infrastructure to the public, and that's a game changer. Now, how did we pull this off? We didn't try to build on top of old infrastructure and hope it scales. We made very deliberate choices. Instead of monolithic L1s, we use modular rollups with specialized execution layers. This allows us to separate concerns, settlement, data availability, compliance, and to optimize each independently. We've also implemented custom zero knowledge circuits to handle key verification processes, which speeds up both compliance checks and data integrity without sacrificing privacy or decentralization. So users get real security guarantees without compromising on speed. But here's something people often overlook: scalability isn't just about TPS. You can have a chain that boasts 10,000 transactions per second, but if finality takes 10 seconds and the latency is all over the place, the user experience suffers, especially for traders and institutions. What we care about is predictable performance across multiple layers: execution, risk, compliance, and cross chain movement. Our architecture allows us to execute transactions quickly, settle securely, and bridge value across chains and jurisdictions almost seamlessly. We also designed AICat to be jurisdiction aware. So as we scale globally, our infrastructure can adjust to local regulatory demands. Whether that's whitelisting certain assets, geofencing certain flows, or implementing KYC selectively through AI. It's not just about being fast, It's about being fast and smart. So yeah, AICat isn't just scalable. It's built for real-time finance in a multi-chain, multi-regulatory world. We're not here to push the limits of tech for bragging rights. We're here to make a financial system as fast and intelligent as it should be for everyone.
Cool. That is pretty awesome. Thank you so much for sharing the details with us. And I see that we got a lot of audience then some that also post comments or questions. So just wanted to check, Ethan, later if we have time, will you be able to answer our audience questions over here? Thank you.
So any questions can be directed to the AICat X page, X account.
Got it. Okay, friends. So if you have any questions regarding today's AMA sessions or about the projects that you might wanted to check the AirCat official X handle to find the answers. So let's also talk about, yeah, because we have seen some big players like BlackRock and JP Morgan entering the RWA space. Where do you think AirCat would fit in? Thank you.
We actually see the entry of big players like BlackRock and JP Morgan as a major validation for the entire space. When BlackRock starts tokenizing billions of dollars worth of treasuries and funds on Ethereum, they're not just running an experiment. That's a signal, a very strong one, that the infrastructure around tokenization and on chain finance is finally reaching institutional grade maturity. But here's the catch: those institutions are building for themselves. They're creating closed systems, controlled pipelines, permissioned smart contracts, all designed to serve their clients and internal operations. And that's completely fair, but it leaves a gap because the broader market, the public side of DeFi, still lacks open, customizable infrastructure that can scale with real world assets. That's where AI Cat comes in. We're not just building a tokenization wrapper. We're not just putting a real estate deed into an NFT and calling it innovation. What we're doing is building programmable, modular protocols for RWAs. That means the logic around ownership, compliance, income distribution, risk scoring, all of that is built into the architecture and can be deployed BlackRock, but a regional bank in Southeast Asia, a DAO in Europe, or even a fintech startup in Africa. Think of AICat more like the Linux of tokenized finance: open, flexible, and incredibly powerful. Our aim is to democratize access to the tools and infrastructure that were once only available to the top 0.1%. You don't have to be BlackRock to tokenize assets anymore. And you certainly don't need $1 million legal team to create compliant financial products on chain. Now, let's talk about reality, because the truth is, most institutions aren't ready to go fully on chain. There's regulatory complexity, legal enforceability, data sovereignty issues. These are real world concerns, not just tech problems. That's why AICat has been designed from day one to support off chain legal frameworks. We've embedded compliance modules that support things like KYC, investor accreditation, and jurisdiction based access control. And we're working directly with regulators in several regions through sandbox programs to make sure our approach is both legally sound and globally adaptable. So, where do we fit? We're not competing with the likes of JP Morgan. We're enabling the layer below. We're giving the infrastructure to everyone else. The protocols that can serve emerging markets, startups, fintech platforms, DAOs, and more, all with the intelligence and compliance tools they need to operate globally. In short, the giants have entered the space. That's great. Now, let's open the doors for the rest of the world.
Thank you so much, Ethan, for letting us know about the detailed information regarding what AI Cat plays in the RWA place. And of course, we are wondering what's next on the roadmap for AICat. Thank you.
Yeah, so we're rolling out in stages. In Q2 and Q3, we'll continue stress testing our AI trading agents in a testing environment while onboarding early institutional partners into the RWA engine. By Q4, we'll be launching our first tokenized real estate funds with pilot deployments planned in selected regions, depending on regulatory and infrastructure readiness. 26, we're moving into commodities and fixed income instruments. These are massive untapped RWA categories. Alongside that, we'll be launching our global DAO structure with compliance modules tailored for different regions. Think of it as regulatory composability. And finally, our long term goal to build a financial OS that outlives institutions. Finance shouldn't depend on a single entity or jurisdiction. It should evolve, adapt, and thrive on its own. So, yeah, autonomous finance isn't just a concept anymore, it's being built. And we're incredibly excited about what's coming next. That's the future we're building at AICat.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing the roadmap with us for AI Cat. And of course, we got some audience asking very important questions, both on our X Spaces and on Banasite. They're asking when TGE, did you also add the TGE schedule in the roadmap? Thank you.
Yeah, so any further questions can be directed towards the our AICat X page.
Okay, got it. Then, so everyone, if you still have any other questions, please check out the AirCat um, official X handle as well. I see that they got contract address, so must be already have a token. And if you still want to learn more, I recommend you to continue to follow AirCat to get updates from them. So, well, Ethan, before we wrap up the session, do you have any additional information that you want to share with our audience? Thank you.
That's about all for today.
Got it. We appreciate you for joining us today on a Friday evening, and thank you for your time. Also, thank you so much, everyone, all the audience, for joining us today. We had a great turnout because on Benefit we have over 9,000 live audience already, and on X we also have over 2,000, which is pretty amazing turnout. And well, much appreciate everyone for spending time with us, and be sure to continue to follow AirCat so you can get additional information. And Ethan, are there any like communities like Discord or Telegram for the audience to join? Thank you. Hi, Ethan. Sorry, the community members are asking if our Binance Live community members are asking if there are any like AI cat Telegram groups or Discord server that they can join. Thank you. Hi, Ethan. Can you hear me? Let me double check the connections again. Hold on 1 second. Okay, seems like our speaker cannot hear us at the moment, but that's okay. We are going to pass the question to him later. Yeah, let's wait for him for a while for Ethan to reconnect. And once again, friends, thanks so much, everyone, for joining today's Inside AICat X Space event. We're also streaming on Binance Live, and we are very happy to invite Ethan, the founder of AICat, to share a lot of updates with us. It seems like shows he's reconnecting. So let's check. Ooh, it seems like he actually dropped to the audience again. So maybe let me invite him again. Hello, Ethan. Hi, Ethan. If you are able to rejoin, let us know. Thank you. Ooh, it seems like he's not in the space right now. Let's wait for a while for him to reconnect. Hello, everyone. We will start our session officially in about 5 minutes. Please help us to repost the session across different platforms so more people can join us. Thank you. I'm also going to share this event to Binance Live so more audience can join in. Let's wait for 3 more minutes until our guest speaker, your team arrives. Okay, 2 more minutes. Let's go.